the FNL Network talk show.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to a special edition for New Year's and New Year's Eve of the FNL Talk Show. I'm Sean, and I'm joined by a wonderful, diverse, beautiful cast and crew of Jeff. We've got Steve behind the scenes. We've got Eugenia. We've got Holly. And look at all these cool backgrounds. I kind of have like a holiday theme. I mean, today I'm sure Eugenia's making a lot of people happy. You get to go in bed with Eugenia. I mean, that's a special New Year's. I'm sure. And Holly's in a psych ward. I don't know. She had a meltdown after the holidays. And Jeff's got a great painting, maybe painted by Holly. I don't know. How's everybody doing tonight?
Oh my God, what a start of the show.
All good.
That's how I roll. Never say what I'm thinking.
So true. Background says so much about you, right? Especially now on Zoom. Like we were just talking before the show, how like, is it real? Is it fake? Like, we thought your trees are real and then they're not, or like, and like, where are you? And what is real?
Psych ward.
2023.
Soon will be CGI. Who knows? Like Avatar, the talk show. Welcome.
I Photoshop my bed, just because my prediction for 2023 is not to get out of one. I'm just gonna do all my talk shows from the bed.
Well, rest could be good, and I like to think. I think you'd have a hit in bed with Eugenia.
Yes.
Cool, right? Why not? Right?
Why not?
Now, one assignment that we kind of came up with together is to come up with questions kind of related to the new year. So I figured I'd kind of start with Holly because it seems like she has some good advice, and it has to do with being sensible, which I'm not. So I really don't have a lot to say on this topic, I don't think, but we'll let you start it off, Holly. Go for it.
Absolutely. I am in a library. I'm just going to get that, tell the viewers straight. No psych ward. You're all good viewers. Hey, all good FNL networking people. So with that being said, love the energy, Steve. Appreciate you so much. I love everyone here. Okay. The most sensible thing that I probably heard, I don't know if everyone else has heard it, but probably to start out small and then go big. That's probably the most sensible thing I've ever heard for a person with my personality. It makes so much sense. In other words, compartmentalizing things and also micro and macro managing things. So the most sensible thing that I probably heard is start small and then go bigger. So really, ancient Chinese fortune cookies say. So yeah, that's probably the most sensible thing that someone's told me. I've been given a lot of financial advice this last year for some reason. So that's what will that take into 2023? What sensible is it something that I can take into 2023 with me? Absolutely, with my projects. What about you guys?
Yeah, Jeff, what do you have to say about that? Because I love that painting too. I want to know all about that painting after you tell us how to be more sensible.
Okay, so this is the thing with me. Sometimes I'm doing so many different things. So someone was just like, you need to finish your mandate task before you go on to the next thing. So in 2023, I'm going to start finishing one project before I go to another project, because I'm good for starting something, not totally completing it, and then trying to go back and trying to figure out where I left off at. So my thing is, I'm going to finish my mandates text so that I can see the completion of something, just like when I do designs. But that painting in the back is the guy from Black Panther that passed. Oh, cool. So I painted him a while back. Oh, nice. And when I did this, the release for that movie, a premiere in New York, I had to do some designs. So that was my inspiration. So I pulled the painting out, and I was inspired by the painting to do some pieces that I did, some garments for in New York. So that's what that painting is.
Love it. And Eugenia, I love your sensible, fun, festive hat. What sensible advice did you get or use?
Just be the most insensible self, authentic in 2023. I don't know, guys, I think I'm the opposite way. Like I actually just finished reading. I'm in the Utah mountains here in the snow, and I love reading. This is like one of my favorite things, especially end of the year, kind of reflecting. And I was reading Edgar Allan Poe. I don't know if you know guys about him, but he had like amazing, brilliant writer, but the most disastrous life, like never followed the rules, always did everything the opposite, just like, and this book kind of inspired me because, I feel like in America, especially, is like, okay, let's achieve these goals and let's like listen to all the podcasts, like how to do everything right, how to please everybody. But I'm kind of in a place of life where, okay, I achieved what, society tells you to achieve. Like I have kids, I have, my family, I have like some work that I wanted to do. I got it, the career. But I feel like I need to find my true self more, which is interesting. So I don't want to be sensible. I'm stopping to apologize for anything that I've ever done. Sorry, mom, not sorry. That's it. No more good girls. Next year is not going to be any more good girls. I think it's time for us to be ourselves, in the world that we live in, where there's so much censoring and cancel culture. I'll just say screw it. And that's why I'm wearing this hat.
Merry Christmas, screw it. That's Eugenia's advice. Take care, Mom. Sorry, not sorry. I'm kidding. I love it. It's fun. Nobody gives me sensible advice because I'm not sensible. So the best advice I got so far, and I don't know if it works, I'll ask you when I'm done saying it, Eugenia, if you do it at all. But a girl I was emceeing with has a very flat stomach and she's very pretty. And she says her secret is kombucha. So now I'm drinking kombucha regularly and I'm hoping to get like a miracle body from kombucha. I don't know if it's going to make me, come bathroom or whatever it's supposed to do. But, that was the advice I got. It was like, okay, chubs, drink more kombucha. So I don't know if it works or not. I don't know how sensible it is.
Just don't mix it. Just don't mix it with vodka because it won't work. I can tell you right away.
Now you tell me, Eugenia. I'm kidding. And Jeff, it seemed like you, for the coming year, have like a lot of inspirational goals and a way to reflect. So I'd love you to share, what you wanted to know for the new year.
Okay, so my question is, as we exit out of our 2022, what do you want to release to change about the world going into your 2023?
And what is yours?
So I just feel like that with so much going on, I feel like if we as individuals change our mindset on how we perceive people as a whole, I think that change will happen. It will become a domino effect. So that's what I want to change. I just want to change the perception of how people look at one another. It's not about colors, not about race. It's not about, all the stereotypes, people issues, but just love them in spite of. And I think that's what I want to change. I want to go into the world making a difference in how I perceive people. And I think it's going to start with me. So that's my thing I want to do in 2023.
Nice. And anything else about changing perception that you feel, Holly, like that you'd like to change or work on or see?
Oh, absolutely. Sure. Eugenia, thank you, Steve. Eugenia let it fly. So I'm going to let it fly. I have found myself really negative this past year. If I'm going to be completely organic, like she said, I just, just toss sensibility aside. Well, I've tossed positivity aside this year. I have gotten so negative. I want to change my negativity to positivity. So if any of you are positive, you don't know this, but I'm going to be shadowing you. Whether you like it or not, I'm just gonna be like a little shadow behind you and follow you around, and you'll never know it. This if I have any power takers.
Oh my goodness, no, psych ward. I'm kidding.
No, right? Exactly. You never know. Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna go in your pocket or something. Anyway, mini-me. So that's kind of what I want to do. I want to get more positive, get more loving, and just change my perspective. If we can shift our perspective, I think that we can, I think that more things can gravitate toward us that we're wondering why they don't. They will. They'll gravitate more faster and quicker toward us. So that was.
I kind of concur with everything you all are saying because and I like your theme, Jeff, because especially going from COVID, then we have the monkeypox scare, then we have a war in Ukraine. I think it's very hard to sometimes keep a positive mindset. But what I had taken a course a while back, and one of the conclusions of the course is that essentially nothing has meaning. It's all the meaning we give it. So nothing's really good or bad. It's like, red is no better of a color than black or white or what have you. It's what we decide it has. So that means we basically control our own happiness, our own perception of everything at all times, because we're giving it the meaning, or agreeing to a meaning. But really, at the end of the day, there isn't one. It's whatever we're assigning to it. So, I'd like to, assign positive, happy meanings to everything and try to come at everything from that viewpoint and try to see the good or help as much as I can in most things. Clearly, yes, poverty, war, there are things that are not good. But I guess out of the situation, even I think the reason the Diary of Anne Frank is so popular is the ending. She's like, despite everything, I still believe people are good at heart. So in the worst of times, she was able to see a light at the end of the tunnel for herself at that moment, which, clearly, lasted many, many years for many, many people. So Eugenia, what would you like to see and perceive, this coming year?
I'm not letting go anything. I love my bed. I love all my luxury here. I'm not letting go anything. No, joking aside, I think that's the thing. I feel social media and so many news outlets just created such unrealistic standards for us. I was talking to somebody, I have some friends, and even posting on Instagram things, you think people live this perfect picture lives and, all these things, and we just don't see the round picture, to say, Holly, I think there's nothing wrong with feeling up and down, being human. I think there's so much expectations to have this perfect checkout life. But what I think I want to let go is, I want to support more voices who are unheard, more minorities, because I still think in this country, it's not, it's not organic still. And I can feel Hollywood is changing a little bit, but it's still quite inorganic. So I think supporting authentic voices who are there and who have something to share as artists is something that really inspired me in opening doors for others in that sense. And yeah, in comedy, I think that's the avenue that I'm working in, but anything else design or anything, just opening those doors for people who really have passion and voice, and letting go. Also, for me, it's been a lot personally about letting go the patriarchal society, because that's what I was raised in, especially coming from Russia. It's oh, you're a woman and your place is at home and you have to cook and be nice and be polite. And I feel I'm really growing up now and, growing my voice and having it being expressed more, no gender related, I have my son, I love men, I love women, whoever, I love people, but I feel that structure of society where it's all about manipulation, control and power and dictatorship, it has to go, and I can feel it with all this things changing in entertainment business as well. I think it's a gradual change to opening up to our higher, creative power, rather than being against each other and trying to social climb and do things in that very old-fashioned patriarchal way. So hopefully that, that's something that I hope to manifest.
Yeah. We'll look at the Me Too movement, and Weinstein's in jail. And this is what I want to know. What's your thoughts on this? Bill Cosby gets, accused of drugging people. Weinstein, of being a perv. And then they both start limping. Oh, they're all okay. All of a sudden, when you see him go to trial or go on TV, all of a sudden, the Mr. Jello, he's got a limp. Mr. Weinstein, he's holding onto a rail. Okay, limp, is it real or not real? Jeff, what do you think?
I'm trying to understand what you're talking about, because I haven't really...
TV footage of when Bill Cosby was being convicted or going to court, or recently Weinstein had extra charges put against him. All of a sudden, these men start
got issues.
I'm physically, and I'm I think they're putting it on for sympathy. They're I might be a pervert. Look, my leg doesn't work. Feel sorry for me. I don't know.
So that's what I learned, you guys, this year. Psychology speaking, I work with this amazing teacher, Margie Haber, who teaches psychology and, for actors too as well. But we all play these three roles. We are, it's just as humans, we have a child in us, we have a prosecutor, a victim, and a rescuer, right? So a lot of times you can do any of these roles in different relationships. So I think those guys go from like prosecutor and, rescuer to like whatever victim. And it's just a role you play to, and you don't take responsibility, which is like being an adult. And actually that's something that I learned in like self-reflection, how not to be a victim of any circumstance or, prosecute somebody else and rather take responsibility. So I think psychologically speaking, it's very interesting that you notice that, by the way.
Yeah, to me, it was just like something that really stood out. And as far as taking responsibility, like, I think that is a great thing. Like, I had taken a course, and kind of the conclusion of that course was essentially saying, no matter what happened to you, blame yourself, basically, because even if you weren't wrong, you'll never have power, because like in a situation, so say if somebody stole money from you, as an example, and it can be much worse or not, but it's like, well, maybe you were too trusting of the wrong kind of people. Like if you put or acknowledge the role you played and whatever that dynamic was, even like, oh, I was a kid and I didn't know, to have my guard up, against others, and that's why I was taken advantage of. Any little thing like that. Now, from going forward, you're empowered versus like, this son of a gun did so-and-so to me. And, if only they apologized, or they should pay for this. And that's all stuff you'll never have any control over. So it may or may not happen. But the second you put yourself into the situation and say, oh, this is the part I played, you're now empowered in any situation, no matter how bleak or bad it was, whenever it may have or happened to you. So I agree.
True.
Like, let's bring it back to Eugenia. Now it seems like you have tips or a way or a thought on how to make the world a better place, especially with the environment. And I'm curious because I have so many contradictory thoughts about this. I have no idea where to go. I know you mentioned the weather and helping the planet. So how can we help, Eugenia? What's your question? What's your thoughts? I want to know.
Yeah, I was just reflecting, it's been so cold. I'm here in Utah in Deer Valley, and like it hasn't been as cold and dramatic like last year. And also Los Angeles, everybody was like, oh my God, Los Angeles is like a North Pole, Santa Claus visiting, or like what is happening? Like the weather is really weird. And reading about all the storms on the East Coast and all the flights canceled, right? Like a lot of my friends are posting like not going anywhere, like screw the airlines, it's like all kind of messages. So I was just thinking, and like I'm also, my dad was a huge advocate of the environment, and I try to educate myself as much. And like, I don't know about climate change. I think it's very controversial, and I don't really, I try to educate myself as much as I can. But I wonder how, like, what are you planning to do in next year to kind of improve our situation on Earth? Because I honestly don't want to like another pandemic or another crazy like tsunami, to hit. Like, I want to come in peace. What do you guys like? Any personal things that you think you can do next year for that? Or your thoughts?
For me, I think, because like I hear so many contradictory things, like when it comes to electric cars, that it takes so much power and so much of the environment to build one. And yes, you can recycle most of the parts afterwards, but is it really helping the environment in the long run? Same thing too, like the reusable bags take so much more energy that it's almost like worse than putting a bunch of plastic in a dump. But the one thing that it seems like everybody agrees on is like cow farts aren't good for the environment, right? And now I don't think we should start giving, anti-diarrheals to cows. I guess that's one solution. But the other one I've come up with that I think is the better solution is to eat less meat, especially as Americans. We're like little piggies, so the cows are farting, then we're eating the cows and we're farting out cows, we're knocking down trees to put a cow to fart on, so I'm just saying, eat less meat, people. And I think that's the easiest way to help the environment, and stop some farting. The farting is killing the planet, people, one fart at a time, leading to COVID. I don't know. That's my theory. What about you? What do you say? What's your thought about farts, meat, and the environment?
I think you've been around too many relatives. That's what I think.
Oh my God, Uncle Pete. Oh, anyhow.
Oh my God, he's been Steve. Okay, we can just all say we're sorry, Steve. All in unison, we can say that to you, because Steve has obviously undergone some trauma, some relative trauma here. So let's just give him a round of applause for his effort right now, right? For dealing with all this, all this farting going on, right? Gross. Next subject. I don't know. Like, okay, so to answer your question about the environment, or to answer Eugenia's, I'll answer the both of you at once. There's so much trash everywhere right now in this world that it's unbearable to me. I was literally just driving today. I drove last week. I love being up in the air because I don't have to deal with trash. And on airplanes, they make people throw trash away on airplanes. Yes, score. But there's so much trash and littering these days. And so that's literally what I want to do. I literally want to, like myself, I want to be more aware of that and throw things away. Come on, people, we can be less lazy. We can be more in unison in the community, and we can just throw things. We don't have to litter. We can clean up our earth. But honestly, if I'm just going to be completely raw with all of you, I want to ladder climb in politics in Dubai, because that's where they saying that their airplanes are controlling the weather patterns. So Dubai politics it is for me. So it's if that's true and they're controlling our weather patterns. I just saw an article about it. If Dubai, and if these airplanes and whatever's going on, if there's weather controllers out there, I want to cozy on up to them, because something's got to give, because it's raining and then it's like snowing, and then there's like global warming and weird weather patterns like everywhere. So if I'm just getting raw, that's what I want to do. So yeah.
I haven't heard this. The Middle Eastern country, Dubai, is controlling weather patterns?
I supposedly some plane is like spraying debris or something that has like heavy rainfall. And I guess they're in the air testing things. So I don't know what that's about. Apparently they're trying to say now, and I don't know, this might not be true. This might be true, whatever. I just saw in an article that planes are flying around Dubai and over Dubai, and they're literally releasing rainfall, saying they can control the rain, or, so that's crazy to me.
Sounds like a Truman Show. I don't know if you guys see that.
I recently visited Dubai. Now, I'm not big on the Middle East, because those people can stone you on a moment's notice. Be like, oh, I see a homo. Oh, I see a woman who looks like a slut. You're dead. I'm like, so I don't plan on really going back anywhere to the Middle East. Bye. I'm good. I'm like, they're on their own. So I ain't going there. I'm fine. What about you, Jeff? How do you want to help the environment?
Well, like Holly said, like clean it up, but I'm going spiritual, y'all. I'm sorry. So my thing is, we can help by cleaning up, throwing the trash and stuff away, but there's a natural cleansing in the earth. God created a natural clean. That's why we have snow and all that. That helps cleanse the earth. And it may not be convenient, piggyback on Eugenia, what she said about all the people being in airports and the snow and all that. But that could be a cleansing. It could be a changing and getting people to start coming together in love. We don't know why things happen. Things happen for a reason. I just feel like, I look at it on a positive. It could have been a reuniting where it's so much negativity going on in the earth, and maybe they are trapped there, but they could meet people that they normally wouldn't have sat down and talk, because in the airport, you're moving to get to that airplane to actually, so you won't miss it. And now they're in a place where they could, unite and, meet great people. I just feel like it's a natural cleansing. I think God can do it, and he's doing it. And I don't think we need to touch it.
There were people like froze like little statues in Buffalo. I was like, now we could say they were cleansed. I mean, so did everybody with COVID. I mean, maybe God was mad at diabetics that year. I don't know. I mean, it could be a cleansing, but yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know. It's like, it's a hard theory, because I'm like, well, if I take the snow, then do I have to be like, God put diabetics on respirators? I don't know. Like, I can't separate the one from the other. I'm like, God hates diabetics. I'm not so sure,
No.
My mom, she's diabetic.
You are funny. So that's my thing.
What about you? So your dad?
I agree, Jeff. I agree. Go ahead. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, Well, first of all, I would say Kardashians stop flying private jets and like competing who's gonna go 15 minutes like faster, because that was not cool in 2022. Like it amazes me, like these people who talk about climate change all fly there in private jets. Like, hello, like the hypocrisy of that, at least go in economy class. I don't know, whatever, go first class. But, think about one thing you can do and like whatever power you have to change a thing. And I think it's a personal responsibility. Like we do a day with my kids. It's like an Earth Day. We definitely do something where we clean litter around the house. And there's been so much trash in LA with homelessness and things like that. So we, do the work, like one small thing at a time, or do a TikTok video about like not flying private jets all the time. Anything you can, to reach the audience and just be more aware that you're not the king of the world. And, we have to create a better ecosystem with, anything, like pay attention, like you said. I mean, my husband is on all meat diet now. I shouldn't say that, but like, I think, we should respect the animals and the farming and educate ourselves about that, because it's all about greed, humans, and just making things for profit and fast, gratification. So I think it all comes to your values. And I think nature is a really important part of our world. And yeah, I've been noticing weird patterns in nature as well, like just coming from Siberia where it's like all melted now.
Really? I didn't know.
I mean, yeah, the weather is really changing dramatically everywhere. And I'm interested to see how it will progress, but I definitely would advocate more for, for animals and kind of supporting the environment in any way, and the oceans as well.
Nice. All right. Well, we covered our deeper topics. So now let's line it on up. Let's have some fun. So I'm going to go with a thought I had heard, and then I wanted to share as well. One person was like, well, for the new year, I want to choose one word as my theme going the new year. And I think her theme was patience. And so for 2023, the word I want to put out into the universe and manifest is love. Love of what I'm doing for work, love and appreciation of others that I'm always encountering, my love life, bound chicka bound bound, soulmate, friends, love, 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 love. Slap it, flap it, rub it down. Oh no, it's 2023 and I'm feeling the love. So what would you like to manifest, Jeff?
Execution.
You're going to kill people?
No. Not that. Execution. Saying it's something I'm going to do and actually go through the process and do it, and not procrastinate or dummy myself down to say that, no, maybe I shouldn't do it, or maybe I should, but really going forward and completing that task, because I struggle with that. So 2023, I am really trying to fulfill every mission that I said I was set out to do, without me in my mind trying to say, no, I don't think I should do it.
What about you? Good. I love it, Jeff. And Hollywood, do you have a word for the year coming?
That we're not going to be flooded again. No, I'm saying it was a joke. It was a religious joke. Anyway, I had to go there. We're not going to be flooded again. That's the promise. So my goals for 2023. So yeah, I'm going to have to agree with Jeff on this. I'm also going to have to agree with Eugenia, but I'm also going to have to say that I want to be able to be the Chinese proverb spoken, as they say, with saying more sensible things. Like he said, to execute, like Jeff said, cleverly said, to execute. But I want to be able to be the one that people quote when they say that, oh, they said that's sensible. Kind of make it count, not say so many words, but whatever I stay silent and then say the right words. So I'd like to say the right words, and I'd like to say words that just make everything count and get me where I need to be quicker and inspire others and just kind of be that light and that love. So yeah, that's my goal.
Love it. And what about you, Eugenia? Is there a thematic coming for next year for you, or a word that would encompass what you want to bring in?
Not this year, Saturn. I would say unapologetic authenticity. Because, truth is very relative. It's very like truth is one thing for one person and another for another. But for me, I find myself like I've grew up being such a people pleaser. And that's what, I felt like I fulfilled for a long time, doing everything for other people, like, as a mother and everything else. And I feel like it's time to, and it's better, you have better relationships with others if you're really honest with them, even if you have to kind of distance yourself from them for some time. Not cancel culture. I don't believe in cancel culture. I think that's like an extreme way of like, okay, let's cut this person out of the culture and, not hear their side of the story, why they said that. I think there's so much gray area. But I think being unapologetically authentic to yourself, you'll attract people who are the same way. And I think the true art honestly requires that. Like, no matter what you do, if you want to be honest and you want to do something very real, I think, I want to write a book of poetry and I'm like, I can't do that unless I really change, in a way where it has to be like very honest. And it's not easy to face yourself sometimes because we all have demons. So I'm kind of like working on that, just being honest and having difficult conversations with some people and moving forward and taking responsibility for my side of the things.
Nice. We didn't discuss it previously, but it just popped into my head because I'm here in New York and I want to know what other people think about this topic. Like they always televise like, New Year's Eve in Times Square. First of all, it's usually always freezing cold outside. If you wind up going into Times Square and get a spot, you're not allowed to leave. So you can't go to the bathroom. So people are standing there in Depends diapers, like their baby. Probably farting up a storm back to the cows, or whatever else is going on, and freezing to the bejeebers. And then, the ball, when you see it, because it's there all year, doesn't look very big. And all it does is go from here to here. It's not like a miraculous event happening. And then, you have Andy Cohen and Anderson Cooper getting drunk. They're having fun and they're going to pay good money. And then you have all the schmoes just freezing their booties off. So my thing is, to me, that looks like hell on earth. What do you think? Times Square, yay? Times Square, nay? I'll go with Holly. What say you?
Times Square, yay, because all that sounds great, man. In the psych ward, we say great.
And in Dubai, I hear they're changing the weather. What about you, Eugenia?
Honestly, I've been part of so many shows and I think it's a show, just like, example, when you go to your own wedding, like it's such an organized thing where you're like, oh my God, let me just get wasted because it's so much organization. And I just want to have fun. I don't want to be part of like this televised big thing. You want to enjoy it. I honestly never been to Times Square, but I probably would scream and tell, let me out of here. I don't want to be an extra in some kind of a parade, but whatever rocks your boat, I don't know, maybe that suffering and freezing cold being part of it for TikTok makes it work. So
it may lead to appreciation. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly.
What about you, Jeff? Would you want to do Times Square New Year's Eve or no?
Yes, I would go for the energy.
Oh,
the energy of waiting for that new year to come in. You're not thinking about the cold when you're out there, and if you drink it, I don't drink, y'all, so don't say that's a warm for people. But you're there with the energy. You're there just to, you don't know people, but everybody's happy. They're waiting for the ball to drop. People screaming. I want to be there in energy. New York is the place for energy. I want to be there. I want to do it. I'm not worrying about the cold. No, I'm not focused on that. I like to dress, so I wear a leather coat with a beanie hat. And I'll go out there and I'll rock it. Fashion forward.
All right. You're a braver man than I. That's all I have to say. And Eugenia, I know you wanted to reflect on New Year's Eve past. So what was the other point you wanted to mention?
Just want to hear what's your fun story? What is the funnest memory that you have from New Year? I think life is built by memories sometimes, maybe we adjust the memories over time. But do you have any kind of interesting memory about New Year's Eve or how you spent it or that you keep in mind?
What would yours be?
No, I ask you first. I still have to think about mine.
All right. Well, that's her authentic truth. See, you're already there for 23. I have two, so I'll go towards the end. Jeff, do you have a memory that pops out about your favorite New Year's Eve?
Most of mine is spending with my family,
Oh,
just being around them with them and enjoying that time with them, and going from the old to the new. Yeah, that's me. That's memorable for me.
nice. And what about you, Holly?
My last one, the truth is, I'm kind of just drawing a blank for all my New Year's Eves. They've been honestly, yeah, they've been really great. This last one, this last New Year's Eve, my second niece was conceived, so it was an awkward New Year's Eve, but it was awesome because I got to do something new. And spend it with my family in that sense. So, not that I haven't with the others, but that was actually a change because I've never actually been in the same house where a kid was conceived. It's been related.
Just hear them going at it? Is that like how you're like, oh, score? And you're like, that was right,
It was interesting. It wasn't a great one, but it was memorable for that reason. So is that weird to say? Yeah. That was my New Year's Eve.
During all this have sex. Happy New Year. There you go. Nice. I love it. I have a couple. So one is the year 2000, because I don't know if you guys remember, but everybody was afraid of like Y2K, and they were like, computers were going to crash, planes could go flying into buildings, the end of the world is coming. And then, because it was the, changing from the 1990s into the 2000s, it was like a big, big deal. So, me and another host here, Bettina, we'll do different party events, emceeing, performing. And so I had somebody call me and they're like, what could you do to entertain our guests, but not emceeing, that nobody else could do? Well, that Halloween, just on a lark, I had bought an Elvis costume and I was walking around the village and people were like, oh, I want your picture. I was like, thank you, baby. And so, and then one of my friends just taught me how to do tarot reading. So I just replied like flippantly, like thinking, oh, it's not going to happen. I'm like, I could do Elvis tarot reading, baby. And they're like, really? And they're like, 4 hours, Governor's Ball in Times Square, but inside, not freezing my bejeebers off. How much would you want? So I'm like, well, everybody says we could die, so I might as well go out with a bang. I'm like, 4,000 for 4 hours. And they said yes. And I'm like, whoa. And so it was very funny because like up until we began the party, I'm studying the tarot because I didn't know all the cards. And then there was another reader there and it's like, hey, have you been doing this for a while? And I don't know. I was like in my late 20s. And the guy's like, yeah, like 20 years. I'm like, oh man. And then so, but then some of the guests would come over and they're like, you're so much better than the other guy. And I'd be like, girl, some of us have a baby, some of us don't. Just like, and then when I left, what was interesting, because I don't know if they do it every year in Times Square, to be honest, because as I mentioned, I kind of avoid it. But each country, when they hit New Year's, they shot off a canister of confetti. So when we left, and because it was Y2K and everybody was afraid, very few people, first of all, were allowed into Times Square that year. So you basically needed a special invitation or a pass. And so when I left the party, I walked through like, almost like snow-filled streets, but it was confetti-filled, like a couple feet of confetti. So I was like, I thought that was kind of cool. And then I ran into Glenn Close because nobody else was allowed in. So I saw Glenn Close at like the deli and I'm like, Happy New Year, Glenn. And she said it back. And it was just like kind of like a special, fun little memory. And then my second favorite New Year's Eve is one of my friends, not good for him. He was getting a divorce, but I was friendly with him and his wife, and he was going out of town. And long story short, the wife invited me to a wedding at, now it's the Top of the Rock, but it used to be the Rainbow Room. So it's at NBC Rockefeller, like where the tree is, for those of us, watching who don't know. And it's the very top. And so you have a panoramic view of New York. So their wedding was just one floor below the top floor. And it turned out the top floor, it was $3,000 a head. So their wedding must have been about the same. I did not know the couple at all getting married, but I was invited to her guest. And she's like, I'll take care of the gift. I'm like, even better. So I go to this great space. It's catered by Cipriani, which started in Venice, Italy. And then they're known for like catering and lots of fancy and celebrity events. And also they have a few restaurants and chains. And honestly, I find their food hit and miss, but everything they had was delicious. They chose perfectly. Veuve Clicquot flowing all over the place. And then now I'm getting greedy, right? Because I have a panoramic view, we have a live band. The woman who invited me, she sang even at one point. And then I see like, well, what's our little goodie bag from the bride and groom? It was like these little chocolates. So I see the security guards and they're like, yeah, they're having a party upstairs, 3,000 a head. I'm like, do they have goodie bags? And the security guard's like, yeah. I'm like, can I sneak up the stairs and steal a goodie bag and get you one? And then the woman's like, I didn't tell you could, but if you do, all right, honey. I was like, okay. I leave the wedding for a little bit to steal a goodie bag. So I get my Cipriani goodie bag upstairs. Along the way, I see like a kid's table and it had all these like themed hats. So I stole like a Roman hat. I put it on like I'm a gladiator. I think I even took a bottle, which I didn't need because we had free booze downstairs. And then I came back downstairs, gave the security guards a bag, gave my friend a bag, I had a bag. But what's extra funny is I didn't know we had fireworks in New York because there's a run in Central Park, which I also wouldn't do on New Year's Eve, too cold. But they have fireworks. So I saw the fireworks from this beautiful space, like the Rainbow Room, and top-notch catering, great band. So an amazing party for free. I basically saved $3,000 for this party. Plus I stole a goodie bag. And the poor bride and groom have all these pictures of some moron they don't know in a Roman hat all across. Because the photographer, like I'm one of the ones only dancing because they were lawyers, so they're boring. And so like nobody was dancing, nobody was having fun but me and my friend. So they kept taking tons of pictures of us. And they're probably like, where did he get the hat from? Why is he wearing a Roman hat? They have no idea. You know, I was schnockered, I had a great time, you know. So I probably, you know, like destroyed their photos, but I loved it. So that was my So what about you, Jeff? What about your favorite New Year's? Just family, pretty much?
Yeah, just not family. Well, back before I stopped partying, I used to go out partying before I transitioned as a minister. And I used to turn up. I would get so drunk. I will remember the next day. That was what I did. That was before I changed, and no, I can't. It becomes very costly. So those are good memories for me, but nah, I'm good. Being with my family is good. I'm good. It's safe.
And what about you, Eugenia?
Safe is not my word, but no, actually, you know, my best memories are because I lost my dad, and like my dad was a nuclear scientist and we used to go out and look at the stars all the time. So my best memories are like when it's New Year's, we'll go out in snow and just like look at the stars and see the perspective of how small we are and like how big the world is and like how much, you know, we still have to accomplish and how nothing really matters, you know. So I think it's more of that time, yeah, like you guys said, with family. And I do miss New York, like pre-COVID, you know, when I was like based there full-time modeling and like all these crazy parties where you don't know what's happening. It's always an adventure, it's always fun. You know, miss those type of things. And I just think it's a special moment, you know. It's kind of like time freezes and you have a moment where nothing matters and you really can reflect on like your life and what's coming and what's next. And I think it's just a beautiful thing for us to celebrate. I think it's fantastic. So I'm looking forward to this one.
I just love what everybody says. So Holly, you know, her New Year's was all about the conception of a relative. And it's all about family and like, you know, evolving from being a partier. Eugenia, family, and knowing your part in the cosmos. And mine is about money, lying about being a tarot reader, and crashing a wedding. So it just shows us what type of people we are. Three of us are very lovely, nice human beings, and one of us is a little superficial. I don't want to call out anyone like myself, but I just find it kind of interesting and fascinating. I guess the last thing that I'll throw out there, because it's like what a lot of people want to do is like they make resolutions. Often, you know, people will be like, well, I'm gonna, you know, stop eating as much, or I want to lose weight. Do you, and whoever wants to go first, maybe you, Eugenia, do you make resolutions for the new year or not really? Do you have one for the coming year?
Yeah, I do. I mean, you know, work-wise, I just want to slow down. I feel like a lot of times it's so easy to rush and like be a workaholic, but I want, you know, I want to do something that matters. And like with all this like TikToks and stuff like that, I do want to write a poetry book. Like that's my goal, because I think it's the opposite of everything that, you know, we're forced to do, like sell, you know, things like that. So that's a resolution. And also be more loving to my kids and my family and more forgiving, maybe, you know, because it's family always pushes your buttons the most. And I'm trying to like not react as much and just be more zen in that sense.
Well, I liked Mommy Dearest, so I think it is fine to force your kids to eat
Oh
steak
my God.
or and hit them with a wire hanger. I don't know, but maybe that's my guide to parenting. Jeff, what about you? Do you have any resolutions other than being the executioner, getting everything done?
No,
No?
because I always make resolutions and never follow through. People always say that I'm gonna lose weight. Prime example is going to the gym. You've been working out all the whole year, and all of a sudden you see all these people in there working out, and the gym is packed with people.
Yep.
Give it 3 months, and it's gone. Like, I don't want to do the New Year's resolution. I just want to execute what I'm starting now and take it into my 2023, what I've already planned that I'm going to do. And then once I finish that, I was set the next agenda. I don't want to put that on me, because then I would have to hold myself to it. And then if I don't, then I'm looking crazy. So I try not to do those New Year's resolutions. I'm good with that. I did that so many years.
All right.
I'm good.
Do you have any resolutions?
Well, yeah. My resolutions are probably, it seems everybody's better health, and good health, good maintained health, better relationships. Just in all 5 areas, just concentrate on my book, sell more art, really, just more acting films, which opportunities actually came up for me this very week. So I'm already on the right track. Send prayers and positive energy my way, please. Yes, keep that going. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to this next year. It's going to be different. It's going to be good. So.
Nice. And kind of like I covered, I think my main theme is just love of self, love of others, to bring in love. And then, I'm putting it out there, baby Jesus, it was just your birthday. So if you would like, I would love to have my own TV show or be a regular on a TV show. In addition, if you're wealthy, have a hedge fund, maybe you fly that private plane. Unlike Eugenia, I will forgive you. You can call me, you can marry me. We can even let somebody horrible like me crash our wedding. It's all right. That's, another goal. So baby Jesus, work your baby Jesus magic, and feel free to send something magical for 23 for me, just because, it's how I roll. I really like it. But on a more serious note as well, I want to wish all of our great FNL talk show viewers and FNL viewers in general, and everybody who's tuned in so far and who will tune in, a prosperous, healthy, happy, great new year. May your new year be filled with love, light, and joy. May your New Year's Eve bring you whatever you'd like, whether it be, be spending time with family, hearing family members have sex like Holly, whether it's like Eugenia just improving in all areas, or whether it's like me, a very superficial night and it's tongues of fire. So wish you all the best. I want to say Happy New Year's to everyone. And you guys want to say the same?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year's.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Okay. I love you guys. Thank you, Holly.
Love you. Bye.
Love you.
FNL Network.
We love you. Happy New Year. Happy 23.
Happy New Year.
Best ever.